Hi there, dear students. Hope you all are doing great. Obey to your parents and study regularly. Stay home, stay safe. So, coming to our today's lesson, we are going to discuss the fifth lesson of our textbook, that is our Runaway Kite by Lucy Maud Montgomery. Have you guys heard about this author? To be precise, authoress? No, not a clue. Okay, no problem. Let's learn something about this author first. In the next video, we will start discussing the text. So let's start. Have you heard the name of this country, Canada? Have you? I think you have. So let me show you. Here you can see India. Here Africa. Here you can see South America, North America, United States. Okay, United States of America. And above America you can see Canada. You can see it. Here it is. It's a huge country itself. And let me switch to satellite view. Here above America, the red circled area is Canada. Now look at the southeast portion of this country. We are looking at the southeast portion of the country now. Here, as we zoom in, we can see here you can see there is a small island named Prince Edward Island. You can see it here. It is Prince Edward Island, and at the northern part of this island there is a place called Cavendish. Let me show you. Prince Edward Island. We are zooming into Prince Edward Island, and in the north portion of this island there is a place called Cavendish. Here you can see it clearly, Cavendish. Cavendish. Here this area is called Cavendish. So here in the Cavendish post office, all of our poetic ventures began. You might be surprised to learn that a little post office played a unique and important role in the Canadian literature. In its own way, the Cavendish Postal Service on Prince Edward Island had a significant influence on one of these country's most cherished writers. Yes, Lucy Maud Montgomery, the author of Anne of Green Gables. Lucy Maud Montgomery was born in Clifton. We know it today as New London. But just before she turned 2, her mother died of tuberculosis, and her grief-stricken father brought her here to Cavendish to live with her maternal grandparents, the Macmills, for a good part of her youth. The Macmills had been postmasters for 3 generations. As a young girl, Maud, she was known to family and friends, helped her grandfather with his postmaster duties. In those days, in rural Prince Edward Island, the post office was a good place for people to congregate, catch up on news, discuss politics, or just to gossip. And seeing as the post office was in Macmill's home, these gatherings were probably where Maud found the inspiration for many of the true-to-life characters that populate her novels. You should also know that Montgomery worked as a teacher in various island schools. But when her grandfather passed away in 1898, Maud left her teaching position and returned to Cavendish to care for her grandmother as well as help run the post office. Well, for an inspiring novelist, being an assistant postmistress has its advantages. Writing paper was very expensive in those days, and you couldn't find very much of it in Macmill household. So, always looking for something to scribble on, Maud was able to write her stories and poems on the back of the official letter bills, courtesy of the Post Office Department. You know, her famous novel, that is Anne of Green Gables, was published in 1908 and introduced the world to the ever optimistic Anne Shirley. As we all know, the book became an immediate success, was translated in dozens of languages, and is still popular today in countries as far away as Poland and Japan. And there's for the post office, well, its contribution wasn't forgotten. As we all are now discussing the contribution of this post office behind the success of this great authoress. So, I believe by discussing the contribution of this post office, we are now giving a fitting tribute to the post office that helped launch Lucy Maud Montgomery's career as a world-renowned writer and one of Canada's most beloved authors. So, I hope you have learned something about our author of our Runaway Kite, that is Lucy Maud Montgomery. Okay, now look at this fact. As we have learned that Lucy lost her mother and was estranged from her father at a very early stage, she always cherished for her parental company. So, she clearly knew the value of relationship, and we can clearly find its projection in many of her writings. Our Runaway Kite is of no exception. You can clearly find it in this text also. So, what is the text about? This short story is about a brother and sister living on an isolated island with their father, who, through a series of incidents, get reunited with their long lost relatives. Listen to this again. Get reunited with their long lost relatives. So, look, she gave poetic justice to the brother and sister living with their father, who at last got reunited with their long lost relatives. She gave a poetic justice in this. Again, see, here in this line, you can clearly hear the whimper of Lucy's deep-rooted sorrow, as she couldn't reunite with her long-dead parents. In her own life, she couldn't got that poetic justice. So, instead, she tried to fulfill her desire by projecting her desire in her writings. So, her feelings found a way in her writings. So, the stories that we read, the stories that we read, these are not just the stories to read, but to peep at the story of authors that lurks behind these texts. Hope you guys have enjoyed the discussion. So, that's all for today. Bye.